So good morning students. So we are going to continue with our Thunkable workshop. So please kindly take note that since we have only 1 hour per session each time, so if you are try to come for class on time and immediately open your laptop so that we can actually save time. Otherwise it will be quite challenging for us to cover certain materials. So this morning we will be continuing with our workshop. So go to Thunkable website. So if the font is too small, do let me know. Okay. So be quick in terms of launching your laptop and logging into your Thunkable. So we are going to continue with our My Talking app, which is the first app during our last class, right? That's what we did. Now up to this point, I'm actually providing the recording of our class. That is just a luxury which I'm providing all of you. Please do take note that sometimes due to some technical errors, the recording may not come through. So you may tend to lose up on certain materials. But touch wood, so far so good. So we are on My Talking app. So is everyone on this page? Let me enlarge the screen. So under Thunkable, when you have logged in, you only will be seeing this one particular app, right? You won't be seeing the options that there are several projects on my page, but you won't be able to see that. So what did you name your first app? Did you name it as My Talking app? Yeah, whatever name that's fine. Not necessarily you have to follow exactly. So click on that, and it will land you in this workspace, your workspace. Are you all able to see the screen? If you are unable to see the screen, you can maybe reposition yourself towards the center of the class if that gives you a better view, or whichever view that gives you a good view, then it should be good. In case if you can't see anything, just do let me know and I'll zoom in. Is everyone here already? I mean, here means as in this page, not in class. So let me just very quickly describe what we're going to do this morning is we're going to continue with our workshop. So hopefully you can have your first app, a simple app, a talking app. And I believe that all of you have already installed the Thunkable Live in your respective phones, right? Because you're going to test it on your phones. Okay. So when you click on your Thunkable app, this is your workspace. You can see the various options of live test, share, make a copy, download, publish, and also your account and things like that. And what you are seeing on the left top corner is the name of your project. Currently is My Talking app, and this is what we know as the component tree. So this portion will show you all the components that you have added onto your screen. So this is the component tree. So you'll see all these components. Currently, My Talking app is the app's name, and under this My Talking app project, you only have one screen, which is by default. Whenever you open a new project, you'll be automatically you'll be assigned screen 1. I mean, we are working on an app, so it must have a screen, right? So by default, you'll see some screen here. Okay, so later on we can add on some other components. So under this there is invisible components. Some of the components, they are not meant to be seen as a user interface, so it will be at the background. And sometimes if you download certain files, you're able to see that, and also data sources. So you'll be able to see all those components that you add on this top left corner. And then on the bottom you have another palette which is known as Add Components. So this is the important one, where you will be able to see all those available components. They are categorized based on category. Like for example, you see user interface. All these components falls under the category of user interface. Are you able to see better now? So all this falls under user interface. Button, label, text input, list viewer, web viewer, switch, slider, canvas. So all these items falls under user interface, which means user can actually interact with it. This is part of interfacing, right? And then you also have layout options. You have voice. We'll be using some of this. You have image. We'll be using that also. Data later on when we use database. Location whenever you want to use maps. Sensors we'll be using also. Social and sign in. There's some monetization as well. So there are various components that you can actually select. So we can actually select it from here. Now for every components, if you hover your cursor on top of those components, you'll see this question mark here, right? So if you click on this, it'll give you a description. What is it about? What is it about? So here is button. A button is something that you can click on to perform an action. This action can be anything from navigating to a different screen, saving information to a database, etc., etc. Okay. Any question up to this point? Good. And then you'll be seeing at the center of your workspace is the screen 1. So this is how you'll be able to see, and there is an option here, button that mentions preview. So if you click preview, you will be able to see how is your design. But currently it's empty, so you don't see anything. So you go back to edit. So under the screen 1, of course you have the preview and also the edit version. Currently we are in the editing version. Is that okay? And then on the right hand side, this is the property, the property window. So currently you see this is actually showing the property for screen 1. So there are simple property, there are also advanced property. So for example, like simple property, you can see the background color, background picture, vertical alignment, horizontal alignment, margin, padding. So we will see all that. What are those? So like for example, background color. So if you just choose any other color, do you see the background color changes? Are you all able to see that? So if you click preview, this is how it's supposed to look like. So going back to white. So this means that for whatever component that is actually selected here, currently screen 1 is selected, right? So when screen 1 is selected, it will display the property of screen 1. So whatever component that you select, it will display the property of that component. So this is basically how your workspace looks like. Any question up to this point? Are you all here? Now, if you have noticed that there are 2 tabs here, design and also blocks. So currently we are under the design tab where we do all those designs. We insert all those components and things like that. But those components won't work because you have to add functionalities to it. And that you can actually do when you click on the blocks. So take note that Thunkable is a non-programming platform, which means you just add and drop the blocks, right? So we will do the functionality here. So there are these 2 tabs, design, where you do all the designing, and functionalities, you work on the block. Is everyone okay? Now let us start with our first one. So what we're going to do is, let's go under the components. Let me just... So under the components, if you go under layout, you see under layout. So I want to use this top tab navigator. So if you click on top tab navigator, do you see the icon here? Are you able to see the icon? The top tab navigator means it gives you a navigation. So when you layout means how is your page layout is going to be. So if you choose like a top tab navigator, meaning to say that you can swipe your screen to the left and right, or you'll have the navigation on top. So how do we actually include this layout? Just by drag and drop onto your screen. Of course, when you drag and drop onto screen, you'll see that, well, nothing happening on the screen, but you'll see that under your component tree. Now, do you see that there's top tab navigation and things like that? Yes or no?
Under design, you mean?
Yes, we are working under the design tab. Under the design tab. So when you drag and drop, you'll see now My Talking App, then you can see top tab navigator. Then you'll see screen one, right? So screen one now we don't need, so you can delete it. So this only leaves you with top tab navigator. And top tab navigator has 4 tabs: home, about, contact, and setting. This is by default, it comes like that. Okay, so you can see there's home, about, contact, and settings. Now, if you want to know how this looks like, if you click on preview, do you see that? This is the top tab navigator. So, of course, whenever you click any one of this, it doesn't show anything because we haven't included anything in there. Is that okay? Now, how would it look on your phone? So, sorry, I couldn't show how it looks on the phone because I have this app of screen copy, but it's not working. I have to go and check why. It was working last week. So I want all of you to go to your Thunkable Live on your phone. So click on Thunkable Live app on your phone. And of course, it'll ask you to log in with the same credentials, right? So when you log in to the same credentials, you will see that there is a project. Under My Projects, you will be seeing one project there, right? My Talking App. So click on that, My Talking App. So are you able to see same thing like your preview? So you can click about, contact, settings. It's a responsive page. Is everyone able to see that?
You can swipe to.
Yes, yeah, you can swipe also. If you swipe, it'll go to the next one. Everyone okay? Everyone happy? So what we're going to do now is we are going to edit the top tab. We only need 2 tabs. So maybe the contact can delete, settings can delete. So that leaves you about home and about. 2 tabs. So whenever you make changes here, real time or almost real time, like it'll change on your life. Provided the internet connection is good, then sometimes it'll take a little bit time. So, but this is a free version, so you have to bear with it. Okay. So when you preview, only you'll be seeing 2. Is that okay? Everyone able to get that? Okay, let me go back to the edit. So what we're going to do now is we are going to change the name of this home and also about. So let's click on home. When you click on home, so automatically the home is highlighted and it shows the property of home. So we want to rename this. So click on the rename property. Can you all see wherever I'm pointing? So you click on rename and then we can name this to text to speech. So if you click enter, you'll change, you rename it text to speech. Then the second one which is about, we're going to rename that as well. So we're going to rename it as speech to text. Now it actually changes, right? Are you able to see the changes that's happening in the Thunkable Live? So when you preview, you're able to see this too. Sometimes if you don't see the changes, you close the Thunkable Live and then you open back, you'll be able to see this, the changes. Is that okay? So let me go back to the edit mode. So here under text to speech, let's say it's a bit plain, right? Let's add some color to it. So we can actually add some background pictures. So let's go to Google. See, phone background. Let's put some handphone background image. Oh, sorry. Handphone should be wallpaper. Okay, there's some selections of wallpaper. You can choose whichever image that you like. So let's say, for example, okay, let's say I'm just gonna go with this. Okay, maybe this. I'm just going to choose any image. You all can choose any image. Okay, so just right click on that image. So when you right click on the image, if you are using Mac, then I think you know what's the option for the right click, right? Now there is save image as, there's copy image, there's copy image address. Now when if you go to Thunkable, you see under the background picture, if you click, there is upload file or type in URL. So personally, I like to use URL because it saves you the time of downloading and then uploading the file and things like that. URL is much more faster. So when you right click, do you see the copy image address option? Click on copy image address and then paste it here. So the moment you paste it, you'll be able to see the image here. So of course, currently it depends on what type of image that you choose. The image that I chose is only able to show the moon. So you can actually choose the background picture resize mode and use contain. This is how the preview is supposed to be. Somehow my internet is slow, so I have to keep on logging back. Oops, I think I made a mistake. I've added the background to the speech to text. It's supposed to be on text to speech.
Yeah, it's same, I think.
No, it's two different pages, so if you paste in one, it's not going to apply on that page. So my intention was to put on the text to speech. So you will see on my phone how when I change the background image resize mode, I use it as a contain, so it contains. If you use cover, you'll be able to see how it actually looks like. So when you use cover, there is no white space. It covers the entire phone portion. So my intention was to put on the text to speech, not speech to text. So I'm going to cancel this, cancel that. Okay, so here, I want it here. And I'm going to choose background picture resize mode on cover. So you can see immediately it'll update on your app. So you can put whatever image of your choice. Are you able to see? Everyone managed to get? Now I cannot, since I'm actually handling here, so I can't see if each and every one of you are doing your respective task or not. Is everyone okay? So you can respond by saying something. So we have added this image background. So now app looks a bit nice. But edit mode. Everyone okay? Now, if you are looking at the preview, okay, images, okay, done, nicely displayed. But do you see that we actually are working on a text to speech, right? What do you think is wrong with the icon? It's a home icon. So we want to change the icon. This is text to speech. So let's see if we have text to speech icon or not. Okay, there is something. Some icon. Let's see what is this. Okay. So I'm going to, I think I'm going to use this. Depend on what you want to use. So I'm going to again copy the image address. Go back to Thunkable. Now under the edit mode, what you have done is on the background image, but under the text to speech simple property, scroll down, scroll down, scroll down, scroll down, scroll down. Now you'll come to the tab navigation options, right? Then you go scroll down, there's tab navigation icon, right? So here we want to put this. So immediately it'll update. Do you see that now it changes the icon? Okay or okay? Yes.
Can you explain one more time, please? Changing icon.
Sure. So how we want to change icon is the image you have chosen your own image. The same thing, you choose the copy the URL under the text to speech property, simple property. Just now we changed the background picture, right? Scroll down, scroll down, scroll down, scroll down until you see tab navigation options. Now if you scroll down further, you'll see that tab navigation icon. So there you paste your. So now you see you have the text to speech icon changed.
Yeah.
How about the rest? I think only Yash is responding. No problem. So you all can say something. Thank you. Communication is important. If you have problem, just you should also let me know. Now we can also do that with the text, speech to text icon since we are at it. So why don't we actually also search for speech to text icon. So maybe I'll choose this one. So same thing. Currently we're under the speech to text. So scroll down until you see the, so click X, then you paste it. Say click preview. Yes, now it has changed, right? So if you swipe the top one, you'll see the text to speech and speech to text. Is that okay? Now, as we go along, of course, then we'll beautify it even further. Can I move on? Of course, we will do some other beautification as well, add some animation and things like that. We will do that, not a problem. Now, let us do some simple things so that you can actually hear your app talking to you, right? So for that, let's use one of the first user interface. What we have just done is we added some backgrounds and we changed the layout, we added some backgrounds, we changed the icons and things like that. Now let's add a button. So under the user interface, do you see button here? So drag and drop onto your screen, then the button will appear. So this is under text to speech. This should be under the text to speech. So if you see under the component tree, top navigator tab, top tab navigator is the layout. Under the layout, there is two tab, which is text to speech and speech to text. Button 1 comes under text to speech. Is that okay? Now, when you click on this button, yeah, of course, you'll see the properties here, right? So one of the things that you want to do whenever you add a component is to rename it accordingly. So if you see currently button 1, this is showing button 1. If you don't rename your components, later when you want to add some functionality, of course now you only have one button, so it's okay. But if you have a lot of buttons and if you have button 1, button 2, button 3, button 4, do you know what's button 1 for? Button 2 for? So always have a very good way of renaming them. So in this case, we want to rename the button so that we know what button is this for. So maybe we can rename this as text to speech button. So I'm using abbreviation. TXT is text, to SPCH but speech, BTN is button. So I'm just renaming it so you know what this button is for.
Action of button, what's going to do if you tap, for example?
Yeah, that we will add the functionality later. You can do a lot of things, but we have depends on what action that we want it to do, then it will do.
But now we're writing it only to know which screen to be.
Yes, because each one of these component is a property, it has a name, right? Later when you want to add functionality, to which button that you want to add the functionality to. If you don't rename it, if you see button 1, button 2, button 3, button 4, you may not know what is button 1 for. Where is the button 1? What is the intent of this button 1? So therefore, when you put text to speech button, it makes sense that this is on the text to speech button.
So it's just says where is the location of the button.
Location as well as the function of it.
What's the function of this button?
So when you press this button, you'll convert the text to speech. So that's how the renaming things work. Is that okay? Now you can see that under the property there is this text button, right? So maybe we can change the text. So let's put that here me speak. So this is the text. You can change whatever text that you want it to display here. So whatever you do, you can see live on your app, right? So I'm just checking my app. So the actual layout or how it's supposed to be is on your phone. Even when you preview here, okay, it may show you something like this, but not necessarily reflect exactly the same on your phone. Each phone, have a different resolution. So accordingly, you might want to try to change it so that it best fits your phone and how you would like it to display on your phone. So currently on my phone is almost the same. So that's one. Hear me speaks. You can actually change the text color is there. The background color doesn't really seems a bit off for me. So if you want to change the background color, you can actually change to whatever color that you want. So you can play around with the text color. You can play around with the background color. Nothing's going to explode. Nothing wrong is going to happen. So feel free to actually explore. Now, there is this text color. You can change the text color to whatever text color. I'm just going to leave it white. You can change the font size. If you want to include background picture, you can include. So all these things you can actually try to explore. Now there is one thing which is known as the height and also the width. So it says pick one. Fit contents, fill container. So this is the first option by default. It said fit content. Fit content means you are fitting the wording inside. This is the content, right? So if you choose fit content, it will reshape the button to fit the content. If you put fill container, container is your entire layout, right? So it will fill the container, which in this case we don't really want that. This is height. So height, maybe we just put fit content. So height of fit content means it's just the upper and the lower. It just try to fit the content. This is height if you choose this option. There is also relative size. If you choose relative size, you can either choose fit content. You can actually put the percentage. This is relative size, 50%, 20%, 10%, 5%, or maybe 8. So whatever relative size. Likewise, you can actually select on the absolute size. So you can choose whatever absolute size that you actually want, right? So we're gonna stick with the fit contents. The same thing applies with the width as well. So if you choose fit container, what do you think will happen to the button? Yes, it'll expand to the side. Right, the same thing. So you can do fit content. Or maybe this one purposely, I think I want to make it a little bit bigger. So let's say 120, so maybe 50. Nope. 80. Okay, I'm just going to put 80 just to make the button a bit big. Just for sake of explore. Now there is also this thing known as margin and also padding. Margin is from one component to another component. Currently, okay, let us add one more thing so that we can see what's the difference. So under user interface, there is label, right? So what is label? Label is nothing but displaying text, just writing some text. So drag and drop a label. So the label is placed on top of the text to speech button, right? So let's go up. This is the label. Text, you can actually put my talking app. So the color I'm going to change to maybe white. See if I change. The line height is going to 2. Okay, font style. It's normal. Font weight, I'm going to make it bold. Okay, so now you are able to see this wording, right? My talking app and hear me speak. There are two components side by side. So if I click on this button, now currently I click on this button, automatically the property of that text to button will be selected. So if I choose margin, let's say if I put a margin of top margin, if I put 10, what is happening? It's actually creating a space between the component above, right? This is margin. Margin is the spacing outside of the component. So if you have two, label and also component side by one on top of the other, whenever you put a top margin, you'll create a margin on top of this button. Do you see that? Of course, in this case, if you put bottom margin, it's not going to show anything because there is no component below it, right? Do you understand? Margin is outside. Now, when it comes to padding, padding is the inside part. So, for example, you see this hear me speak. The padding is how the text is padded with the outline of that button. So, for example, if you see the top padding, if you put 10, observe what happens. You see it adds the padding here. It adds the padding. So now you look, do you see that there is a more space here? Earlier the text used to be closer to the top of the button, right? But when you add the padding now, there's between the wording and also the top of the button, there is some spacing. So is it okay? Margin and padding. Margin is outside spacing, padding is inside. Everyone okay, able to follow? Okay, let's go back to edit. So let's do something before we end our class. Now let's go to scroll down under the component. There is this under voice, there is this text to speech. So you click on this. The text to speech simply takes in text and reads it out loud. So you drag and drop it to your screen. But you won't see anything coming, you will see at the bottom because text to speech is a non-visible component, invisible component. So if added the text to speech. So on your app, you won't see anything changing because it's the background, it's not the layout. Okay, so now let us go to the block. We're going to add some functionality to the button. Let's go to the block. Now, under the blocks, there are already some predefined blocks, functions, control, logic, math, stacks, and things like that. Whatever you see on the bottom here is whatever components that you have added. Is that okay? Now, how we want to add the function? So basically, if you look at the design, when do you think your app will start to talk? When you press the button, right? So that means, what is the name of the button? Text to speech. So click on text to speech. Text to speech button. So when you click on the components, it will show you a lot of blocks that are affiliated with that button. So do you see the first one? Click and drag. So you'll drop on your canvas. So you'll see that when text to speech button is clicked, then do something. Is the logic? Are you able to understand the logic? When text to speech button is clicked, then do something. So what you want to do? So we want to call the text to speech component. So when you click on text to speech component, you will see this one, call text to speech toggle drawer menu. So that's not right. this purple color one. Drag and drop. So call text to speech toggle drawer menu. So drop down on this. Sorry. Okay, sorry. Not this one. Whenever you want to delete, drag the block or delete block, you can drag to the bin here. So just drop it. Delete. Sorry, not the text to speech. This text to speech is actually, do you know what is this? Text to speech is a screen, the tab name. So we are looking at the text underscore to underscore speech one. And then you will see that this one, call text to speech one to speak. So drag this and drop it here. So look at this logic. When text to speech button is clicked, it will do what? It will call text to speech function to speak. Speak what? Speak a particular text. And what is the text? Hello. So on your phone, if you click, let me see. Do you hear it speaking? Have you added the invisible component? You have to add that. You have to add the text to speech component, drag and drop. Then only you'll be able to see. Hello. So your phone, when you click, when you type on your phone, then you'll be able to hear it talking. Hello. And you can change.
If you manage to hear your app talking.
So whatever thing that you change, it will talk.
How many of you manage to hear your app talking?
Okay. Any question up to this point? We will keep on building on this app a little bit more. We'll include sensors and things like that. But can I hear some of your app talking? I'll stop the recording for now.